Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. India, China agree on a Monday deadline to disengage in eastern Ladakh. The disengagement process has begun. It's on currently at the line of actual control. India says it will be phased and verified. There will be return of troops of both sides to their original positions. All temporary settlements will be dismantled. This is a key breakthrough before the Prime Minister's Uzbekistan visit for the Shanghai Cooperation Summit. China's President Xi will also be at the same summit as the Prime Minister. As Britain mourns, King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla meet crowds at Buckingham Palace. There will be a state funeral for Queen Elizabeth on the 19th. Prince William is now heir apparent to the throne. Harry and Meghan's children will also become Prince and Princess. Meanwhile, India declares a one-day mourning for the British Queen. Rice production in India hit in 4 key states because of drought. So overall rice production is down by 8 to 9%. The government levies a 20% duty on export of non-basmati rice. Climate change now hitting crop production in India. The BJP announces major reorganization in state in charges before 2024. 2 ex-chief ministers and ex-minister Prakash Javadekar get state responsibilities. Gujarat's ex-CM Rupani is in charge of Punjab. Tripura's ex-CM Biplab Dev in charge of Haryana. Maharashtra's Vinod Taude is state in charge for Bihar. Rahul Gandhi says, I'm clear in my mind on President issue. There's absolutely no confusion in my mind on my decision. I may be wiser after the yatra. Meanwhile, 24 hours on the Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra, NDTV reports. Also an insider look at the container rooms of leaders. Bail after 2 years for journalist Siddique Kappan. The Chief Justice granting bail says everyone has a freedom of expression. They asked the UP government what was found with Kappan, ordering his release on bail in 3 days. Our lead story tonight, well, details now coming out of the India-China disengagement process, importantly, to be over by Monday. That's 2 years after the standoff happened. Maha, why are these details so important and why this Monday deadline?
These details are important because for the first time after this friction started in eastern Ladakh, Prime Minister Modi will be coming face to face with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. They'll both be together at the SCO summit in Samarkand, and that is why these developments are extremely significant. First of all, we are seeing a disengagement that will take place by the 12th, which is just 2 days before the summit starts. The summit is on the 15th. We'll see an informal dinner on 15th evening and then the summit on 16th. So remember, this deadline that has been given for 12th is significant because after that, a mutual verification also needs to be done whether the process has happened as per the satisfaction of each side, which means structures will be dismantled. These are temporary structures that may have come up. The troops of both sides will go back to their positions as well as seize any further movement of troops to that particular point. This is patrol point 15 on Gogra-Hot Springs area. Now we have disengagement complete on Gogra, that is patrol point 17A. Apart from that, Pangong Lake as well as Galwan Valley. But one critical step still remains, and that is disengagement in Depsang. But simply, if you look at the fact that Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi will be coming face to face, is there a conducive atmosphere just in case there is some sort of a conversation between the two? Then this has been, in some sense, created for that. Let's quickly listen in now to what the Chinese Foreign Ministry said on this today.
根据中印第16轮军长级会谈达成的共识，双方一线部队9月8日在嘉南达坂地区开始脱离接触。这是一个时期以来两国外交、军事各层级多轮会谈取得的成果，有利于促进中印边境地区的和平安宁。
So we'll wait for the developments on that story. But moving across now live to London, where just a short while ago, the new King Charles III, met with mourners at Buckingham Palace, along with his wife, the new Queen Consort Camilla. Radhika Iyer is there reporting. what's happening in the United Kingdom at Buckingham Palace. Let's go across now to Radhika.
Sonia, with King Charles III coming into Buckingham Palace, the mood here has become just slightly more upbeat. A lot of people have been pouring in from 2 a.m. Here at Buckingham Palace, most of them with tears in their eyes. While they're mourning the Queen's loss, they're also cherishing, celebrating her life and her achievements in her 70 years of reign of the longest serving monarch. I have with me 2 lovely Indian origin women. One is a performer, Arunima Kumar, and Priya Virmani, who is a commentator, political commentator. I'm going to go across to you. Both of you have met the Queen. Tell me briefly about your story and your encounter with the Queen and what you take away from that.
I met the Queen at the Buckingham Palace during the India-UK Year of Culture, and she was so inspiring because I had missed the photo opportunity with her, but she still came out, to meet this young girl, a young Kuchipudi dancer who had just performed for her, spoke to me at length about my sari, choice of silk, her visits to India, and even tried her hand at Indian dance mudras. So for me, it's quite an emotional moment because we've had that, connect with her, performed for her at the Platinum Jubilee celebration, celebrating her extraordinary life, and here we are today paying tribute to that same sense of duty and commitment to all of us.
Sure, and I remember that was just 3 months ago when we were at the Buckingham Palace. Priya, your encounter and what do you take away from your meeting with the Queen?
So I was a student at the University of Bristol, and together with an excited bunch of staff and students, we were ready to welcome the Queen and Prince Philip. There was a lot of pomp and pageantry and horses and stallions all about, and there was a sense of intimidation. But the moment Her Majesty emerged from her Rolls Royce, we saw her warmth, and we were infected by that sunny, almost grandmother-like, enduring smile, and that memory becomes very vivid today and is so fresh and alive in my mind. And also the consistency and stability of her reign, despite all the vicissitudes or whatever life may have thrown at her, personal challenges and otherwise. Very much like the story of Lord Rama and the qualities he displayed at prioritizing pristine governance and a sense of duty over all personal challenges and struggles.
Carry on, keep going is one memorabilia you will see everywhere in London, and it comes from the fact that the Queen just kept carried on whatever challenges were within the state as well as within her own personal life, and the royal family has not been free from controversies. She has sworn in 15 prime ministers in the United Kingdom. What's likely to happen now is King Charles III will be officially signing off funeral plans, and within 10 days from now we will see the state funeral at Westminster Abbey.
Queen Elizabeth II's death marks the start of a tumultuous 10 days for the United Kingdom that will see a queen buried, a nation mourn its longest reigning monarch, and a new king taking charge. All this with a 3-day-old Prime Minister at the helm.
We have witnessed the most heartfelt outpouring of grief at the loss of Her late Majesty, the Queen. Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, was one of the greatest leaders the world has ever known. She was the rock on which modern Britain was built.
Britain's new king and the new queen consort are back in London today, where the new sovereign will have his first meeting as monarch with Prime Minister Liz Truss. 73-year-old Charles is now King Charles III, the moment his mother died.
Businesses will be repealed and reformed.
It follows a lifetime of scrutiny as Britain's longest-serving heir apparent. While his coronation in the coming months will help him to define his image as king, examining his decades of controversy could offer some clues to how he might behave as sovereign. The revelations of infidelity in his marriage to Princess Diana left him and now Queen Consort Camilla deeply unpopular. But most relevant now that he's king is Charles was accused of attempting to influence the British government, and most recently he has been embroiled in controversy over donations to his charities. In fact, a poll showed in April that nearly half of Britons think Charles should let his son Prince William be the next king. And a YouGov polling ranks him as the 7th most popular royal, behind his mother, daughter-in-law Kate, and son William. Among millennial-age Britons, he ranks 12th in terms of popularity. Meanwhile, reports claim Meghan Markle stayed in London when the Queen died in Scotland. Prince Harry and his wife had shocked the family by quitting frontline duties in 2020 and criticized royal life. The Megxit saga, the rift between Harry and his brother, allegations of racism, and accusations that the institution failed to help a self-confessed suicidal Meghan left the Windsors in turmoil. Perhaps the worst scandal the Queen and now the new King inherits is his brother Prince Andrew, who is accused of having sex with a minor, a claim he settled without admitting any guilt. His accuser claimed in court filings that she was forced to have sex with Andrew as a minor, which eventually led to Andrew losing both his Royal Highness title and his military ties.
A new and an inevitably shorter era has begun for King Charles III, becoming monarch of the United Kingdom, and 14 Commonwealth realms from Canada to Australia offers him an opportunity to answer a question that has been following him for decades. After a lifetime of outspoken public interventions, what kind of a king will he be? Radhika Iyer from Buckingham Palace in London, NDTV.
Let's just go across now to what's happening in politics. Major changes announced today by the BJP in the organization. Akhilesh, let's go across to you for more. Akhilesh, why are these important?
It's important because the chief ministers who were there for some time, like in Tripura, Biplav Dev, now he has been given responsibility of Haryana. Vijay Rupani was Gujarat CM. He has now been given responsibility of other states. So that's why those ministers like Prakash Javadekar, Mahesh Sharma, who were out of circulation, now they've been brought back because the BJP has set an ambitious target of 350 seats in 2024 Lok Sabha election, and that's why BJP does not want to take any chances. All those senior people, they have been given charge of crucial states which are going to poll very shortly, like Om Mathur has been given charge of Chhattisgarh, Arun Singh will remain in charge of Rajasthan, and P. Muradhara will remain in charge of Madhya Pradesh. So all these are crucial appointments. We know this very important post because they monitor day-to-day functioning of the organization in various states. That's why these changes are very important.
Right. Thanks so much for that, Akhilesh. And meanwhile, it's day 2 of the Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra. Rahul Gandhi indicated that he knows whether he will become Congress president or not. He said he's very clear in his mind on whether he'll contest or not, but refused to say anything about whether he will contest, saying that you'll know that when the elections happen.
The Grand Old Party trying to set the pace ahead of 2024 elections with this. It's Bharat Jodo Yatra. From the southernmost tip of the country, Kanyakumari, with the theme of uniting India against hatred.
Whether I become president or don't become president, this will become very clear when the presidential election takes place of the Congress party. It will become clear that, so wait till that time. I have very clearly decided in my mind what I am going to do. There is no confusion in my mind at all.
Gandhi is leading it for the first 3 days. Day 1 of the Yatra began at 7 a.m. at Agasthiswaram in Kanyakumari on Thursday. After covering 13 kilometers in the first half of day 1, Rahul Gandhi and about 200 fellow Yatris and team members took a break at the 102-year-old SM Higher Secondary School, which Mahatma Gandhi had visited in 1937. The second half of the day 1 which began at 4 p.m. on Thursday, covering 10 kilometers by 6 p.m. The camp was set up at a college ground near Nagarkoil. The camp being a convoy of 60 such containers turned rooms for 200 odd people. While Rahul Gandhi has one to himself, others will be sharing, senior leaders in 2-bedded containers and other yatris in 6 or 12-bedded ones, each with attached toilet. Of these 60 containers, 9 have been modified to house women yatris.
All the people of this country will be united. You will know the pain of the people, understand the situation. He knows now what BJP could not do. He wanted to see that all the hearts are being united.
After 2 days of yatra of walking almost 40 odd kilometers, the yatris are standing in queue here to give their clothes for laundry, and the arrangements for even for cleaning the clothes have also been made here. With camera person SP Babu, this is Arvind Gunasekar from Kanyakumari for NDTV.
In other news, after nearly 2 years, Kerala journalist Siddique Kappan has got bail from the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice today stressed on freedom of expression, asking what material was dangerous which was found on Kappan and is there any literature which shows anything damaging.
Bail for journalist Siddique Kappan from the Supreme Court. After over 700 days in prison in Uttar Pradesh, the top court has ordered the release of Kappan within 3 days. He was arrested by the UP police in October 2020 and charged under the stringent UAPA for alleged terror funding. Kappan was arrested on his way to Western Uttar Pradesh's Hathras, where he says he was going to report on a gang rape and murder case. In court today, the Uttar Pradesh government argued that Kappan was paid to incite riots and that he is not an accredited journalist. He was trying to create a riot situation and use explosives. He belongs to the PFI and this is a terrorist organization. But the Supreme Court questioned the evidence against Mr. Kappan. What was found with Kappan? No explosives were found, Chief Justice U.U. Lalit said. The Chief Justice also observed that every person has the freedom of expression.
One thing about the conspiracy which the prosecution said was that they were carrying pamphlets to create riots in Hathras and other parts. Now when that pamphlet was read out to the court said that this is just a pamphlet to protest.
Kappan's family had supported the journalist during his prolonged jail time. A month ago, this video of Kappan's 9-year-old daughter talking about the freedom and rights of ordinary citizens at what appeared to be a school function had gone viral.
ഏവർക്കും എൻ്റെ ഹൃദയം നിറഞ്ഞ സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യ ദിനാശംസകൾ. ഞാൻ മഹ്നാസ് കാപ്പൻ, ഒരു പൗരന്റെ എല്ലാ സ്വാതന്ത്ര്യവും തകർത്ത് ഇരുട്ടറയിൽ തളക്കപ്പെട്ട മാധ്യമപ്രവർത്തകൻ സിദ്ദീഖ് കാപ്പന്റെ മകൾ.
2 വർഷം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ചെറിയൊരു കാര്യമല്ല. കാപ്പൻ ഒരുപാട് കഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു, നിരപരാധിയായിട്ടുള്ളൊരു മനുഷ്യൻ. അപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഞാൻ എന്തായാലും പോരാടും. എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ എനിക്ക് ഉറച്ചൊരു വിശ്വാസമുണ്ട് കാപ്പൻ നിരപരാധിയാണ്.
Kappan is also facing a money laundering case filed by the Enforcement Directorate. The top court has said he can apply for bail in that case too. With Sunil Prabhu and Vineet Kumar, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.